Hello, I'm Bob, and this is Joan, and we are artistic directors of Piffaro, the Renaissance Band.
And we're delighted to be collaborating with Bach Festival and the singers from Choral Arts Philadelphia, whom we have worked with a number of times in the past with Mac Landorf. It's always a treat for us to be involved with them, and it's always a big treat for us as instrumentalists to perform with singers, because really when you think about it, back in the Renaissance, all wind players especially were singer wannabes.
And we've got a lot of different wind instruments here. Many of them are ancestors of modern instruments, and these were the instruments of the professional wind players of the Renaissance and Baroque periods that will bring a lot of different sounds together with the singers in presenting music that inspired Bach, and in fact including a couple of his chorales.
As well as a piece that was written by his great-uncle or uncle?
I think one of his uncles, actually.
Right. That will include all sorts of instruments and the singers, which we're really excited about doing.
I'm holding what is called a dulcian by the Italians and the Germans. It was called the Bachon by the Spaniards, and simply the bassoon by the French. And it is actually the grandfather of the modern bassoon. It's a double reed instrument and plays very similarly to the bassoon, although has no keys except for a couple that we need in order to get our fingers to the holes that are further away. This is a bass size of the family. So it has a range very similar to a modern bassoon. Is a little bit richer sounding, a little bit more open sounding than modern bassoon. I also have a tenor size. All of these instruments were made in families of sizes like the soprano, alto, tenor, and larger and the smaller, and the tenor is simply called the bajonista, the little bajon, the little bassoon. Here's an alto size. So as you can see, there are simply various sizes of the same concept of making a double reed instrument.
Here are the shawms. Let me move them into... These are ancestors of the oboe family. The three of them here, a soprano size, alto, and tenor. This particular kind is based on the 16th century kinds of shawms that are, especially the soprano, relatively simple in shape, and no key work needed on this one because all the holes needed acoustically to play the instrument are within the reach of the fingers.
Bass shawm, which plays the same range as the dulcian, but has its bore drilled straight through. This is a fairly new instrument. This was played well into Bach's period, into the late 17th and even early 18th century throughout Europe. And these are the kind of instruments actually that Bach's father played. He was a Stadtpfeifer in the towns of Lübeck and Arnstadt, and consequently was familiar with all of these instruments and would have been very comfortable with the kinds of pieces and the sounds that Piffaro will be making in the May 4th concert. Not only music from the 16th century, but from the 17th century, music that Bach's father might have played in his own consort in Lübeck.
So here's a complete set of recorders, from the very smallest one, soprano, to an alto, to a tenor, and one kind of bass here, pitched in G, another bass here, pitched in F, and they get larger, a bass in C, and a very grand bass here in low F. They are very large instruments to produce not really very low notes, and as they get larger they also get quite a bit softer. They don't carry very well, which is one reason why the recorders really died out and did not spawn any children that then became members of the orchestra, the way the flute did.
Here is a duet written by Orlando de Lassus, whose music was continued to be played and was very influential throughout the 17th century, and I'm sure that Bach was familiar with this music. This is a little duet on a tenor and a bass recorder.
These are Flemish style, and if you look at some of the Bruegel paintings, you will see pipes very much like this. They have a double drone, which has two pitches. One is basically the tonic and then the dominant. Blowing up the bag is the first trick. Play a piece, at least one piece on the bagpipes for this show.